Hey there, busy mama. I got you. No need to worry. I did the homework for you. As your wellness concierge, I'll connect you to greater health and guide you to be fully alive and well. I'm a former Navy nurse and lactation consultant turned homeschool mama, focusing my love of education and health and wellness toward helping others. I don't even pretend to have it all together, and I'm totally okay with that. I can keep it real. I'm here for encouragement, sharing my voice and my journey, and to have fun. And just maybe a little learning too. Here, you'll find education, empowerment, and authenticity on a weekly basis. I am your host, Stacey Myers, the Hotmess Homeschooler. Welcome to the podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I actually recorded this episode back in the beginning of September when we got back from vacation, and I am now just getting around on the very last day of September to publishing it. Our schedule, life, and most recently a hurricane has just kept me away from all of this, but that's not to say that I did not succeed in my search for simplicity. So here I am in typical hot mess fashion, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going to talk about simplicity, which may seem kind of crazy as we jump into fall routine and getting back to school. And even for us as homeschoolers, my daughter went back in early August, but this mama was not ready to start school until after Labor Day. So this was the week that my son and I started back full time. So a little bit of adjustment. We had some tears and outbursts, but minimal on the part of both of us. So that was good as we get adjusted to this. So many of you may have seen, if you follow me on social media, that I just spent the last 2 weeks of August on vacation in a beautiful lake house on an island in Lake Erie. Yes, this Florida girl does go to Ohio for vacation. And it's wonderful. I love our vacation because it stretches out the summer for us a bit longer, and it allows us to soak it all in all of its gloriousness. We come home on a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend, which gives me some breathing room and time to get my feet under me before we have to jump back into the normal fall routine in our homeschool life. So as much as we adore the freedom of the summer, I am really ready by the time we all get home to have the structure and routine which the fall season brings for us. And I use the term fall loosely because here in Florida, we don't get that type of weather for another couple months at this point. But anyhow, I did a podcast before on making space. And as I came home from my recent trip, I had the opportunity of a 2-day drive. I say opportunity because I took the time to catch up on things that I did not have time to do before, like business webinars, listen to a couple podcasts, and a few trainings. It really allowed me time to consider things. Most importantly, to think my very own thoughts, because both of my kids were in the back on their own devices doing their own thing. Which is really funny because my sister and I were talking about how lucky they are today to be able to have that. They have no idea the struggle that road tripping back in the 80s were. It's very funny. And we were like, dude, we could have driven all day long if we would have had our own like little mini computers in our hands, right? Anyhow, so driving, it was a huge opportunity for me to have these fresh ideas and consider new possibilities for my homeschool, our home life, our normal routine, and my business. And I'm very thankful for the notes feature on my phone and voice texting so I can make sure that I got all my ideas down because I'm definitely a pen and paper writer down kind of gal. And when I had this space while we were driving, a lot of these ideas just started pouring into my brain and made me excited as I listened to the different trainings and things. And so it was really great that I had that block of time. One of the things that really struck me as I was driving was considering my need for alignment and simplicity. Simplicity in what our schedule looks like in our life and in my business. I don't want to hustle. I don't want to be crazed. I don't want to glorify busy. I want to live slow as best I can, like while I'm on vacation, and apply that to our normal life. Simple ways of eating, simple ways of moving, simple ways of doing, simple ways of being. In today's culture, that can seem actually kind of radical, but I'm okay with going quote unquote backward. In fact, I feel like it's something we all kind of crave, whether we realize it or not. There's beauty in that. And even though in our day-to-day life, it's easy to complicate, it's always good to remember what our goal is and continually align ourselves to that. Life is never going to be something that we have figured out or have perfectly balanced. It's always going to be a balancing act, making these little tiny adjustments as we move through our moments, our days, our weeks, and months. It's an act of constant evolving and growing. Simplicity is something I am searching for in my own life. I'm trying to cull the extras and just have an easier, slower pace with less to manage. We don't have to have all the things. We don't have to do all the things, and neither do our kids. I am prioritizing what serves us best as a family, especially downtime at home and family time. Time to just be together, to have time to talk and laugh and share our little moments of our days. Developing a flexible rhythm of life because there is freedom in routine. Initially, while I was driving and coming home, I was thinking I was going to have a no-spend September. You know, all that vacation money flying out, am I right? Oh my word. Then I learned that September was actually self-improvement month. But that sounded good to me because, of course, you know, coming back off vacation, I'm ready to, get my stuff back together after a lovely, fun, playful summer. But I decided, ultimately, I'm going to go for a simple September. So even though I'm launching our second-year Bible study ministry at our church, even though we're starting homeschool in full swing, complete with all the kid activities, even though the busiest months of the year are ahead of us with the holidays, even though, I am still aiming for this in my life, and I'm going to keep simplicity at the forefront of my mind all month long, and hopefully it will carry me through the last quarter of the year. I'm reminded of a story that someone told me recently. This person lived overseas. She was a military spouse. And she was saying, you know, when she needed something, say, for example, if she had a headache and she needed to go buy aspirin at the store, she walked into the store and there was one choice, one kind. You picked it up, you know, bought it, whatever. When she came back to the States, however, when she needed to buy, say, aspirin again, she went and there are so many different kinds, different brands, and it was so overwhelming for her. Like, she's like, there are too many choices. How do I know what to do? And this is such a powerful example of how I think most of us go through our days, right? Like, it's so much noise, so much choice, so much options of everything, like activities and things to eat and things to wear and what to do. I mean, it's crazy. So many choices can be overwhelming and then become paralyzing because we don't know what to do. Like we're paralyzed with the amount of information overload. And especially like when you're trying to live toxin free or make sustainable changes for your health and your home, you know, I think this is really when it becomes like that really becomes an issue because, you want to get it all or do it all right. And you don't even know where to start at that point. You want someone to just tell you what to do, to help you navigate, especially until you gain confidence. And that's where I come in. So for example, if you are looking to go toxin-free, my Safe Swap Shop is a great start. Remember, I did the homework for you. And I'm happy to always chat one-on-one if you have specific needs that you're looking for, because in something like when you're trying to change over products for your personal care or your home, you look at everything and you're like, oh my gosh, because that's an expense. And your budget doesn't always meet that. But I can help you prioritize what is the most important and where to begin, and then help you make a plan to start switching things over one by one, and whatever it is. So let me know. Connect with me on the socials. Hit up my website, hotmesshomeschooler.com/linkme, and check it all out. So I feel this way even with eating, right? Like, I know the things that I need to do to eat healthy. I buy the healthy foods for my house. But then creating all of those ingredients into meals sometimes does feel overwhelming to me, or trying to make sure everybody gets what they need, And I'm like, I would love for someone, to be able to cook for me for, I don't know, a week or two, just so I could see the types of things that they come up with, how easy it could be, how I can make that for my own life. Yes, I know there are recipes and things like that online, but it is just an example that comes to my mind. Like, if I could have someone just be in my home to create these meals, and I wouldn't have to think about it, right? Like, I could just eat healthy without having to compromise or worry because someone else is doing it for me. So that's how I think about it, and how I can help and serve you, especially with the toxin-free thing. So I'm always here because sometimes you just do need that other person. Now, in no time, in no way, shape, or form am I having someone come here to cook for me, but that is a dream of if I ever did win the lottery. Anyhow, what are my top tips to keep it simple? This is what I plan on implementing in our life. Again, making slow changes to try to make them sustainable. We can't do everything all at once, like I said, even though that's what you want to do. That's what I want to do. I want it just to be how it's going to be. And sometimes we just have to honor that journey and go along the way with taking little steps, one at a time, one foot in front of the other, till we get to that goal. And then oftentimes we realize when we get to that goal that goalpost might have moved a little bit farther, because as we learn and grow and start making those changes, we know better and we want to do better, and it just keeps going. Like I said, it's a constant evolution of aligning. But how can we keep it simple? For me right now, as I said, the eating is a big one for me. Even though I'm home most of the day, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not thinking about dinner. So I am going to sit down on the weekend with the kids and try to plan easy meals that rotate weekly or bi-weekly. And then we know. And then that takes the guesswork out of it. Again, these are things that you probably have heard before, and maybe you even implement. So if you have any tips and you want to share anything that you have, please comment below, because I'd love to hear. I'm always open to new ideas. Another thing, simple ways of movement. You don't need a gym or expensive equipment. I'm looking at just hopping on my rebounder. I have a vibration plate, like just even getting on the things that I have in my house. Go for a walk, ride a bike, stretch on the floor, do jumping jacks, go for a swim. Those are all things that you can do that are simple and doesn't require, something maybe than other what you have. 3 is a huge one. Curate your schedule. So your kids don't need to be in every single activity. You don't need to volunteer for everything that you're asked to do. It's okay to live a slow, happy, and intentional life by being at home and present with one another. Now, my kids are in activities, don't get me wrong. They have their things. Some of them I consider as part of their homeschool. But we are very careful with what we plan in the evenings, and the evenings that I am home, I really protect and guard those because we do have activities a couple nights of the week. I don't like to be running around. I told you that. That's not my MO. I like things to feel slow and easy, and I really try to protect that. And then recently, which will probably be a whole other podcast episode, I'm going to talk about some really hard changes that I have made over the last year. Looking back on, just looking back over the year and what I have felt called to do. I've made a lot of changes that keep bringing me back home. And I think that really taking charge of your calendar and curating your schedule can be immensely freeing and powerful. And again, creating simplicity in our lives. Yes, there's going to be weeks you have to run around, but that doesn't have to be the norm. Okay, number 4, play. So that seems like crazy, but I think play for yourself personally, for your own growth, but also together as a family. Whether it's just with your husband or with your kids or all together, it promotes family time and presence with one another. I think it's so important. I did another podcast on creative energy and how that is so beneficial to people to help you. It's like a form of self-care that you can fill yourself up, unlock some of this, potential inside of you and be able to use it. So playing is so refreshing and recharging for sure. And then on the heels of that, which I didn't have written down, but it makes me think rest. Rest is also so important. And I talk about this all the time too. Like we need to truly rest, not just frantically scrolling or even not so frantically scrolling. Listen, we all enjoy time. I love at the end of the night, finally sitting down on the couch, sometimes with a tasty beverage, sometimes trying to get my water in, and just mindlessly scrolling. Like it feels good. It's kind of nice that it's like we don't have to be on, and in a way we can kind of check out. But that's not resting. Like, how do we find true rest? Not just on the Sabbath, but like in our everyday life. How are we finding that so we can, recharge ourselves and again, be better humans for the people around us? And number 5/6 would be simple routines, right? Like, again, we're talking about simplicity. So for me, like there are things that are non-negotiable. I love getting up, making the coffee, having my morning prayer time. Movement. When am I fitting that in my day? Is it in the morning before we get started? I don't love that personally, but once my day gets started, sometimes it can get away from me, and I like to have all the things done either before the kids wake up or as after we finish up homeschool, because then I never really know. Sometimes the day goes in different directions. That's just life. But movement, I need to add in, again, those simple movement. At nighttime, unplugging before bed, that is also a form of rest. Getting prepped for the next day, maybe doing some stretching to ease ourselves into, our bedtime routine. Habit stacking is really important. I've talked about this before as well, if this is something new that you're building. So, like adding movement to the morning prayer, right? Or doing it together, going for a walk and praying at the same time, or, making sure you're off your phone and prepping for the next day, and then adding, maybe taking your vitamins or whatever else you need to add in. So that way it sets you up for success, because those simple routines also give us the freedom to move and allow for more simplicity in our life. Does that make sense? I don't know. It does to me. I think ultimately what it boils down to is all these little choices along the way can help continue your success. So every day, you're not going to get it all right all the time. Listen, I'm living proof of that. I feel like I'm always on a journey. And this is a reminder for myself as well. I certainly don't have it all together. There's a reason why I branded myself the Hotmess Homeschooler. But I think it's important that we just keep coming back to this idea of simplicity and trying to find that in making these choices for ourselves each and every day, because these little things add up big. So make a choice today, no matter how small. Just start. Over time, all these little actions add up huge for your health, for your well-being in body, mind, and spirit. So how can you make a simple September for yourself? I'd love to hear. Please connect with me and follow me on all the socials. And if you head over to hotmesshomeschooler.com/linkme, you can connect. Leave me a comment on how you are doing this in your own life. I would really, like I said, I love to hear what's working for you and for other people. Until next time, good luck. Stay simple and be alive and well. And I will talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for listening. Head on over to hotmesshomeschooler.com where you'll find all the things. Connect with me on socials, check out the blog, and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. I look forward to serving you. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, be alive and well.